Welcome, and thank you for your time to speak with us. Now, I know that you are a big investor in Turkey, and you're in fact one of the pioneers or early investors in Turkey. There's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty swirling around in the region. Are you still a believer in the potential of Turkey, and if so, why?
Thank you very much for this interview. As you mentioned, we arrived in Turkey early in 2003, and we started the first investment during 2005. And when you can see at that time, we were the first investor believing to the potential. And I can tell you today, I believe even more now than that 10 years ago, because 10 years ago we had not any sign of Turkish economic miracle that we can see. I think Turkish case study is one of the best we can have in terms of economic success. You are better placed than me in Financial Times to know that there are not many countries that the GDP per capita, it was multiplied by 4, or by 5 almost, during 10 years, 2002, 2015. From 2,500, we are achieving now around 12,000, and it showed that what the miracle happened in Turkey is just another coincidence. The fantastic, economic program that the government, bring together, based on the fantastic potential of the country. When you know that Turkey have more than 50% of the population still under 30 years old, it shows you the potential that this country has for the consumption, for a huge development program in residential, in office building, and all kind of real estate, I would say, and other sector of economy, for the next 10 or in the 20 years. And major work is done by the government. I think that it should be really considered. And the Turkish economy today has a very strong foundation with a fantastic banking sector. It's still, fantastic potential, as I told you. And we have many organizations, like a real estate, one of the major sector of the country that is driving, growth, actually. Much more better organized than the day that we came to Turkey in 2002. We had any studies, any benchmark, any market studies, any kind of data. And 15 years later, fantastic data. I think you have access today, you can see that. You can find any kind of information with the international, actors that bring it to the market. Market is much more transparent, the organization are much more, I would say, trustable. And as you can see, Turkey is coming to the international market with more than 1,000 delegates open to the world. I think sometimes in international meetings and sometimes even in private meetings, I'm sad to see that Turkey is not considered as a real value, I would say, the true value that we have to give in terms of liberty, in terms of, I would say, economic, performance, the place that the women they have in the country. I was just talking with my friend about how much the women in Turkey, they have a power in the organization, and they are active much more even sometimes, than France and UK. In my company, I have 75% of my managers are women, and the company is driven by the fantastic potential, of managers with high potential, I would say. And I'm really positive, and we can say we are active today in 12 countries. We are managing around $8 billion. We are one of the top 15, investor manager of commercial property in Europe, and as I told you, one of the pioneers, in Turkey, and since 10 years with 100 people active in the country. And I can tell you that our program for the next 10 years today is continuing, to believe, continuing to invest in the country. And sometimes I say to my people and my partner, I look like a captain in the boat, ready to have a storm, ready to go to some wave, but I know the destination will be beautiful and we are going to the right direction. And some storm and some wave doesn't change anything to my mind. It's my job to drive that, and Turkey is bringing us to the fantastic port. I'm sure about that.
Thank you. And in terms of the commercial real estate sector, in which you are very active,
Yes.
Where do you see the main opportunities, and what's your outlook for the sector for the rest of the year?
Yes. As I told you, commercial sector now is just, let's say, shopping center has not more than 20 years age in Turkey, and we are in the third generation of the shopping centers. And we are now with 350 shopping centers, one of the major countries with a very high quality of asset. I can tell you some of the assets that we have in Turkey in commercial property in shopping centers are even more interesting in terms of innovation and more interesting to the concept than many of the malls that we have in France or UK. And it showed that the dynamic of the real estate in shopping center, office property, residential, you can see many of the awards that Turkish sector get in all the international meetings. It means that it's a very dynamic, very innovative, and the role that is made by Turkish entrepreneurs is very important. And many of the foreign investors, they really trust to the market. When you see Blackstone and Goldman Sachs, or Merrill Lynch, GIC investing in such a market, I mean, it's just not a coincidence. They are investing more than $10 billion. During the last 10 years, $30 billion is invested by the foreign investors in Turkey. And I think the major difference that we can have today with the last 10 years is that the last 10 years was the start point, let's say the market started booming and we were much more in development cycle. Now there's a fantastic opportunity for investors who are looking to buy. They are coming to the new phase of what we say investment cycle. Today, I will be very happy for my company to invest another $1 billion and buying 3 more assets with a big scale, ready to invest. But in the past, it was not such a potential. Today, there is 300 shopping centers. There are hundreds of office buildings that they are high standard, high quality, with all the specification that foreign investors are looking for. It means for me that Turkey has a potential to deliver to foreign investment, foreign investors, $10 billion asset per year, very easy. And it can be one of the major markets for investing. But today, as you mentioned your question, there is Syria, there is Iraq, there is some tension in the area that create a confusion for the people. The people, sometimes they make a confusion of the Iraqi problem and Syrian problem with Turkey problem. It's not at all the same problem, It's a border. And in this border, there are some tension. But I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, government is managing that, I trust. Really, I trust the capacity of the actual government to managing this situation. And I want to tell also that Switzerland and Turkey are not the same situation. When you have a border with Germany, France, and European community, it's not the same neighbor. It's not the same that when you are in the middle of Europe and Asia. We have all of these Middle East countries in the neighborhood. I think the government in Turkey, they have a very difficult job to manage all these relationships, all these political situation, and they're doing. I think personally, as a foreign investor, I can tell you the support of the government actually to investors in Turkey is very, very efficient. And I think also that we trust the government, the capacity that they have to drive Turkey in the right direction. They made a fantastic job. I don't know why, and I don't believe that they will make a big mistake in the future. And not even, I would say, mistake, because they made a fantastic work, and this team can deliver in the economic, I would say, challenges. Definitely a very good job, because the foundation are very solid today. And the sector and also foreign investors, they have much more capacity to understand the market and going forward. I think this period of tension is going to be a good test. And let's say 2015 is a challenging period for the Turkish government to explain. I think they're doing that. They organized 2 important meetings with Goldman Sachs in London and also in New York. I think your magazine also made another event last year with the Minister of Finance. I think Turkish government is doing that, explaining. I think it's a very important point, explaining to the world what's the situation in Turkey, and we should not create a kind of misunderstanding of the Turkish problem and also Syrian problem, Iraqi problem, Iranian problem. I think these problems are somehow, they have some connection, but Turkish problem is not at all, the problem of terrorism, the problem of, Islamic, I would say extremism. There is another case in Turkey, and I can really trust for the future much more stability and much more success for economic, political, and social program in Turkey.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and good luck for all your endeavors there. Thank you.